Perfect. All righty. We are live. Hi there, everybody. It's good to see you all joining us virtually. I'm Kari Campbell with the Dog Gurus. For those of you who do not know the Dog Gurus, we are a pet care business that loves to see pet care facilities launch, grow, and profit. We offer business coaching services as well as staff training programs. And talking about training and fun events to do, we are hosting a live event this year, the 2024 Business Breakthrough Workshop in Denver, Colorado. It is April 9th through the 11th, and it's just an awesome opportunity for you as a business owner or your leadership team to come and learn from industry experts. We have over $55,000 in prizes to give away from our amazing sponsors, which include Destination Pet, Pet Exec, Pet Vet, Blue Nine Pet Products, Terwisha Construction, Sync Pet, Kinbolls, Canine Grass, Ginger, Pack, the Professional Animal Care Certification Council, Better Than Home, IBPSA, Westpaw, Licky Mat, and so many more. That's just a few of the vendors that are going to be there. And we're thrilled to bring you what we feel is the pet industry's best 3-day event of the year. So that being said, I'm going to drop the link in the chat so that you can go and get more information, as well as if you're interested purchasing a ticket. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and do, Amber, you know me, technical issues, right? All at the same time. Okay, scroll that at the bottom. Perfect. All right. That being said, I am super excited because today's guest is our 2024 Business Breakthrough Workshop keynote speaker and someone I'm very proud to call a friend. She is a former coach with the Dog Gurus, and her resume is so impressive that I just want to begin by giving you some highlights of her career. So bear with me as I will read this because I don't have it memorized, but Amber has over 25 years of experience in the industry. Over 25 years ago, she began her journey in the dog training industry, starting her business in a parking lot with just $500 and a chalkboard. And I love that, just grassroots right there at the beginning. Through her dedication and expertise, she built a successful career and significantly contributed to the field of pet dog training on a national level. She has held prestigious positions, including the chair and board member for the Association of Professional Dog Trainers and the APDT Foundation, receiving the first chairman's award from the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. Amber's credentials include certifications from NACSW, CPDT, and IAABC. She co-designed a nationwide program to end dog fighting for the Humane Society of the United States and gained media attention featuring on CNN, Animal Planet, NPR, and more. She was recognized as the Small Business Person of the Year by the Small Business Development Corporation, and she was listed in the 40 Under 40 by Business Chronicle. She successfully built and sold a multi-million-dollar brand. And that just happened not too many years ago, because after taking a 2-year sabbatical following the sale of her business, she founded a new company called Leashwise. She's channeling her passion into assisting others and leveraging her vast experience to guide dog trainers and turning their businesses into profitable enterprises and facility owners into adding dog training to their client services. She recently completed her first book, The Top 5 Answers to the Top 5 Questions Asked by Dog Trainers Starting a Business. And she's launching new content in the spring of 2024. All that being said, welcome, Amber. I'm so excited to have you here today.
I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited for the giveaways.
I know, isn't that amazing?
In Denver, I'm like, can I sign
up? I was just looking at some of them, and I mean, these are like major, major awards, which makes me sound like, Fragile from A Christmas Story. But it's a major award. So anyways, well, how are you? How's life after selling your facility?
It's great. Life is great. Like you said, I took a couple of years off and just spent time with my family and tried to figure out what my next move was going to be in the industry. And so now I'm back and very refreshed, very relaxed.
Awesome.
And looking forward to reconnecting. So
okay, wonderful. We miss having you as a coach with us. That was some of my best times working with the dog gurus. So
I love working with the dog gurus. I do miss coaching for you guys. And I'm so impressed with how TDG, the dog gurus,
yeah.
you guys are growing. It's amazing what you're doing over there. It's fantastic to see.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had a busy year, and we're pretty excited to see the different things that we have been tackling. So,
Yeah.
um, so tell me a little bit more about the book you wrote.
Well, it's an ebook. I will say that. It is just the top 5 questions that I have gotten over and over and over. And I am starting to post content on Leashwise. And I wanted to give some things out for free just to A, help people, and B, let them see what we could do for them. So the book is just the top 5 questions. What do I price? How do I start? So yeah, you can go check it out, download it for free.
Awesome, wonderful. So, are you consulting with pet care facility owners?
So I have been consulting with pet care facility owners even through my sabbatical. I had some clients that came on early and just kind of hung on to them. And I've been consulting with dog trainers on and off through that sabbatical as well. And so now I'm just creating a more streamlined version of that, and coaching specifically towards dog trainers who are trying to either launch a business or see it grow and sustain, and pet care facilities that want to add training to their facility. How do they do it? How do they do it proactively? How do they do it and make a profit? How do they train their people? All that piece of it.
So, what have been the biggest takeaways for you from transitioning as a pet, pet care facility owner to now doing more like consulting and working on this new stage of your career?
I mean, the biggest transition from selling your business is not waking up every day for me and hitting the ground running. It's like you said, I started my business and it was just me, and then it grew into what it became. And so every day I woke up early and I was ready to hit the ground and I ran all day. And that was something that I actually loved about owning that business. I loved that I never had the same day twice. There were days when I was tired. There were days when it seemed like it was a lot. And of course, the pandemic happened. And if you had a business during that period, I don't even need to say anything more than the pandemic happened. So when we got the opportunity, they came in and made an offer to us. We took it. Well, I took it. It took about a year, I would say, for me to really unplug fully. There's a period of time, it's a transition when you sell the business. So we still had that transition period. Once that was over, I just found myself having a little bit of a challenge to get out of that get up and go and focus all the time. So I forced myself to. I took some trips. I did a lot of meditation, went to a meditation center, really just focused more internally on myself. And now it's fantastic because I have all of this experience that I can share, right? And I see it from a very different perspective. Instead of seeing it from the owner in the business, I can see it from the 30,000-foot view of an owner who started the business, grew a business, and sold it, how those projects and how those procedures unroll for everyone. So it's been fantastic.
So excited for you. So, well, let's just take a moment to talk a little bit about what your keynote topic is going to be at the Business Breakthrough Workshop. I know it's encompassing multi-generational workforces. So give me a little bit more detail on that.
So again, 2020 changed everything. It changed the employment pool for sure. The expectations of employees changed and the expectations of employers changed. And we're at a period right now where we have 3 generations in our workforce, right? So we have high school age kids all the way up to Gen Xer, hi Gen X, and they're in our workforce. And while they are common in certain ways, there are some pretty, substantial differences between those generations. So how are you able to meet the needs of all of those people when they have such different needs and can see things through a different lens, right?
So what generation is kind of making up the largest percentage in our workforce?
So right now it's not too much of a difference, but you're mostly millennials, right? So that's mostly going to be people from 20 to 30 years old in that window. And then you're going to have your Gen Xers are at 25%, which is me. 30 to 40, 25%. Yep. So they're all 25%. And then your millennials make up the remaining balance of it. The data that's out right now is kind of interesting. There's not a lot of data on the Gen Z, right? Which is like your high school age kids. And I know that kids are doing that type of work and right after high school, but there's not really a lot of labor statistics around that. So I think we're still dealing with a predominantly large pool of millennials.
So what are some of the common challenges that employers are facing right now with the multi-generational staff?
Hiring, having people, I hear the term getting ghosted all the time. Having people actually show up for an interview. And then once they're hired, their expectations. I mean, Kari, you've been in this business a long time too. A lot of times people come in and they want to work in this type of facility because they want to play with dogs, which is great, right? We want you to play with the dogs, but there is also the other side of the job, which, can be kind of not fantastic and not as great as playing with the dogs, right?
Dogs, right.
The cleaning's not as much fun as playing with the puppies. So you'll get some unrealistic expectations or what they thought the job was going to be, which impacts our commitment level. And the commitment level across the board has just not been fantastic for a lot of people. We are right now all living through this, I want to call it the great awakening of people. I know, right? Big words, but people want different things now. I don't think I know. After the pandemic happened, people started to really look at work differently. They wanted more of a work-life balance, which is something that we've said for years, but really want a work-life balance. So it's different now. And, people don't want to work 80 hours a week and work overtime. And so it's definitely a different landscape.
I feel like baby boomers were that, work until the work is done, and so that was our parents. And so, our generation is still kind of in that same mindset that you really have to kind of work until the work is done. And we may have strived for work-life balance, but we were definitely not expert as it. Whereas these kids are so good at setting boundaries. And I'm like, I want some of that.
Yes, right.
I want to be able to set my boundaries and not work as hard.
Especially, listen, and I know that the millennials are not what a lot of people would say young. I have a younger child. He's 16 years old. He even has that trait. Like he sets boundaries at 16 that I don't think I would have been able to set at 16 because my parents are boomers and you work until the work is done because you made the commitment. And it's just different. Things are different now.
So with that being said, what are the commonalities between the different generations in the workforce? Well,
when we're talking about care. Right. When we're talking about pet care, especially dog care, hopefully all of us love dogs, right? We all have that common link. And that seems kind of obvious, but as somebody who's been in this industry for over 20, 25 years, you can meet anybody, anywhere, at any time. And almost always you can talk about dogs. That's a common link, right? You can talk about a lot of really hard topics if you're also talking about dogs. So that's the biggest common link. The second common link is communication. Everybody wants really clear communication and they want to be heard. There is a shift between my generation and the generations following me where being told what to do isn't enough. They want to be part of the conversation and they want to be heard and they want very clear communication. And the generations are different, although the millennial and the Gen Z is not as different in how they want that communication. So that is also happening, right? Some people want email, some people want text, some people want phone calls. Like it's all over the board in regards to that. And the last thing is everybody wants to be valued. Everybody wants to be valued. That's the overriding theme that I hear from my clients and I hear from other professionals is before work was just work. And now it is becoming, yes, it is work, but I want to be valued in my work. I want to be heard in my work because I am there, 50% of my life, basically.
So do you think in that value, it's tied to wanting to feel like they're contributing? Because that's something I used to hear quite a bit when I still had my, active facility is that, they felt like their contributions were making a big difference. So it was just different buzzwords that we started to hear. And definitely the work-life balance thing is something they're very strong at. So
yes. And even to the point to where if someone feels like they are contributing and they are being heard and they are part of the team, they may accept a lower pay scale than if they're not being heard or not part of the team. It's that much a part of people's, innate need at this point.
Do you think that money is still the main motivator,
Oh
though?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All of the data says that. All of the data, especially, I mean, we're all living in the same country. Inflation's a real thing.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right. So it is the number one reason still that people leave a job. It is.
It's funny. I was just on another call a few hours ago. We were talking about how inflation for pet food has actually surpassed inflation for people food. It's like 14.4% for pet food and 8.5 for people food. And I'm like, gosh,
Yeah, I read that. I think it was on CNN. I read it somewhere in one of my news apps that it's surpassing everything, even healthcare and healthcare products in inflation.
Crazy. So, I mean, it just seems like there has to be a point where it stops, right? Because otherwise we're going to outprice ourselves just to try and keep up with the cost of doing business. But that's interesting. So, where do you think employers can go from here as far as dealing with the multi-generational workforce?
Educate yourself, number one. If you're coming out to Denver, love to see you. It's a good place to start your education. I am going to talk a lot about this and give you some steps to take away, but there's also going to be a lot of other people there who have got also great ideas. So that's a great place to start, is educate yourself. The second part is you need to be strategic. You need to be strategic in your hiring, in your training, which I believe the training side of this is almost more important than the hiring. I don't necessarily need to hire someone who has experience. I just need them to have the desire to be successful, right? And if they are trained correctly, they're much more likely to be successful. And finally, retention plans. Incentive and retention plans are a huge part of what is helping employees stay in one place, right? If you're getting paid a fair wage, and that's the key piece, you have to pay people a fair wage, and you're getting really good training. And oh, by the way, we have these benefits and retention plan. To me, that is the three-legged stool. It's going to stand, and you're much more likely to hold on to your team members.
That. Is there anything else about your actual presentation that you want to share today, just as a little snippet or teaser?
Well, I have two things. Back to the millennials, they are actually the largest pet owning population as well, which is fascinating. They are spending the most money on pet products, and they are working the most in the pet industry, which I think is very, very interesting. There's a true passion for it, I think, a true love for that. And last, the boomers. I mean, the boomers, my mom is a boomer. She's 74 years old. A lot of boomers are still working. So as an employer, don't discount that generation. And like you said, they will work till the job is done. They will. But they are still working, and they are still a sizable piece of our multi-generational workforce. So don't count that out, right? And somebody like that can come in. They have a lot of world experience that is really beneficial to your younger employees. So one thing I would like everyone to take away is not just mentor down. So if you have an employee that's 65 years old, they're mentoring down to your 25-year-old employee, but also mentor up, because that 25-year-old employee knows a lot of things that this older person just hasn't had access to. And I'll give you an example. When I owned my own company, I had an employee who worked for us. His name was Justin, great kid. He worked for us for probably 6 or 7 years. And that was when texting was like all the rage. We didn't do WhatsApp or any of that. We texted everything, right? And he came to me one day at work and he was like, "Hey, can I tell you something?" And I was like, "Sure." He goes, "When we're all group texting," and I go, "Uh-huh." And he goes, "And you say okay?" And I go, "Uh-huh." He goes, "Everyone thinks you're angry." I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Because okay means you're not happy, and KK means you are cool with what's happening. So in that moment, he mentored all the way up of, "Listen, I know you don't know this, but yeah."
That's so funny.
That. So, we know mentoring, all of us understand what that means, but what we don't really think about is the reverse way,
So true. It's just making me think about every time I get like a new iPhone or some new update comes out on your phone. And I'm just like, I used to be so tech savvy. And now I just sound old even saying that out loud. But, but I find myself asking my daughter or my nieces, hey, what is this? And
Oh
then they
yeah.
just kind of roll their eyes if I try to do some abbreviation. Because like you said, you just don't understand that you're using the wrong word,
Yeah. 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 It helps to have a teenager in your house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
a lot.
Oh, I love it. So, well, you mentioned something about your keynote talk and giving people action steps. That's one thing when we're talking about this workshop that really kind of sets this event apart from other different conferences that happen throughout the pet care industry within the year. And one of the things that we really wanted to focus on was actually making this more of a workshop type setting. So you will have a presentation, and then after that presentation, we're going to give you time to sit in groups and actually work through and talk about what you just heard. And we'll have handouts, and you'll take that handout and you'll just create, what are the 3 action steps that I need to take back to implement this? Because so often you go to these conferences, you get all jazzed up because you're kind of like on a high from being able to network and you've learned all this great information. But then you get back and you're like, oh my gosh, I've been out of the office for a week and, everything blew up. And now I'm like right back into working in the business, and you forget all the things that you learned and how you wanted to implement them. So that's one of our big goals for the attendees, is to be able to help you have that action plan in place before you even leave to go back home to your business. So I'm really glad you brought that up, because it's just one of the things that we really like about how we set up this event each year, is to be able to give those tips and tricks that all the experts that'll be there speaking will be able to really help put these action plans in place for you. So
that's fantastic. Be intentional.
Yep, absolutely.
Be intentional. Have 3 goals that you're going to meet on this adventure, and meet them. Do it. Yep.
I love that. So anything else we need to catch up on? What are you doing? I know that just seeing your short video the other day, and then from your profile pictures, that your poodle is getting big. But
oh my goodness.
Are you doing all kinds of fun dog training?
Yes, with him. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to train. He was our pandemic puppy. We approached it differently, but we also got a puppy during the pandemic. And so it's been challenging in really new and interesting ways. But he is fantastic. I love all my dogs, but he is hilariously funny. He's just a lot of fun to train.
They are wicked smart. They are smart dogs. So
yes.
And high energy. So, that's a lot to take on. But, when I lost my Frenchie last year to cancer, I was like, oh, I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to, look for anything. And then I was like 6, 7 weeks out. I'm like, man, I really miss having a dog. So started looking at rescue sites, and I ended up deciding to get a puppy. And, my friend Peg, she's like, oh my gosh, you're going to ruin a puppy. It's been 22 years, all these things. So then in the back of my mind, I've had this voice, Peg, going, I told you so, you ruined your puppy. And I have worked so hard with this puppy. And for me, not being a professional dog trainer, just getting him to do things consistently and just kind of rewarding all the things that I wanted. It's been so much fun. And I actually just got his report card from daycare, and it was really cute because he apparently met 2 new Frenchies in daycare today, and he got to show him all of his, responsibility and how good he is at daycare.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I will say, raising a puppy pandemic, I did a presentation on that about 2 years ago. It's a different beast. I took him in, I don't know, a couple months ago to get checked up, vaccinated, whatever he needs. And I didn't know the technician. And the technician was like, he's really well behaved. He's a good boy. I said, I know, especially for a pandemic puppy. She couldn't believe it, because we had so many dogs, because nobody could go outside or go anywhere. Their dogs didn't go outside or go anywhere. So it's definitely challenging to raise a dog in that type of an environment. And it's been really interesting to see colleagues, friends, clients, their dogs, and where some of them thrived and some of them didn't. I think there's going to be some real interesting work to come out of that situation.
Oh, I can only imagine, as dog trainers and or behavior consultants have seen in the last 4 years of these puppies that, just didn't have the socialization experience that they normally would have had. And, the fact that parents and kids were home 24 hours a day, that is not a normal world for a puppy to have people around them. So yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be funny to do like a case study on all of this and see where they are
Yes.
in, 5 years and 10
So
years.
funny. I was thinking about that when I was setting this up. I was thinking, I wonder who all, because I was looking at him because he's a great dog. He's really well adjusted, but he's a little quirky. He's got some quirks. And I don't think he would have been that way if we had had just a normal, and he got much more. I mean, he went to work with me every single day, but he still was with me all the time or at work or at home. And that was kind of his world. So he's a little quirky. And I was thinking, I need to make some phone calls, send some emails, and check, where is your dog right now? How is he or she doing right now? Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you gotta think somebody's probably tracking that information.
Somebody is. Somebody
or somebody,
somewhere is tracking this.
That's funny. So, oops. You're still there. Okay.
It blinked.
No, that's kind of strange. So, the registration link has been scrolling across our banner here the whole time, but I also want to let folks know that we do have a Facebook group that you can join. So if you are interested in connecting with other business owners virtually, asking questions of one another, sharing tips and tricks, we absolutely would invite you to join. We'd love to have you. I'm going to put that link in the chat as well. But just know that we have 2 rules, and that is be nice and don't try to sell stuff. So
Yes.
put this here.
If you have not been to a Dog Gurus event, you need to come. It's fantastic. It's a really good event.
Yeah. They are different because
they are different.
Yeah. There's just some
energy
that's there, and we're a fun group. We like to have a good time. Lots of laughter, and there'll be some really good networking receptions at night, and maybe a little alcohol involved. That's always fun as well. So, if we have any questions in the chat, please feel to drop those in while we still have Amber with us. And if not, then please plan to come out to the Business Breakthrough Workshop. You can register at thedoggurus.com, our main website. And there's actually a direct link, which is in the chat. I can post that a second time here. Again, too many technical things to have to do simultaneously, but there's the registration link up again. So if you want to go directly to the page where you can just select your ticket and your hotel reservations, that link is there as well. So I am not seeing any other questions come in. So we will wrap it up for today. But Amber, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you in person. So it'll be a great event. And as well as if anybody has any questions, you can always reach out to us at the Dog Gurus. You can reach me directly, Kari, spelled Kari, at thedoggurus.com. And we will look forward to seeing you all in April here in Denver, Colorado. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you.